Hi, this is Manish Pandey. Welcome back to this GitHub Copilot Exam Q&A video series. This is part 4. If you have not seen the previous video like part 1, part 2 and part 3, then I will recommend you to please watch this video first because that video starts from the question 1 and we have already covered 90 questions, and those videos has the very important questions that can ask in the exam. Now let's start with the next question. Question 91. What is the primary goal of responsible AI? Okay, so the answer is C. To ensure AI systems are safe, trustworthy, and ethical. That is called the responsible. 92. Which principle is not one of the six identified by Microsoft for responsible AI? And the answer is innovation. Innovation is not part of this six identified, that is by Microsoft for responsible AI. You will have seen fairness, inclusiveness, and accountability, but innovation you will not see there. 93. What does the principle of fairness in responsible AI emphasize? The answer is B. Ensuring AI systems perform equally well across all demographic groups. How does Microsoft address potential bias in AI system? And this is a very important question. When I'm saying very important means this will come in the exam, the bias one. And the answer is C. By reviewing training data, testing with balanced samples, and using adversarial debiasing. Question 95. What is the role of transparency in Microsoft responsible AI principles? And the answer is B. To make AI system operations and decisions understandable and clear. So when we are creating AI systems, that should be understandable and clear. 96. Why it is important for developer to closely scrutinize AI generated code? And the answer is B. To ensure that the code aligns with project specific conventions and requirements. Question 97. Which plan includes all pro features plus additional premium usage and priority infrastructure access? And the answer is C. GitHub Copilot Pro Plus. Question 98. How does GitHub Copilot handle personal data? How does GitHub Copilot handle the personal data? And the answer is D. It actively filters out personal data to protect user privacy. 99 question. How does Copilot use the context to provide code suggestions? And the answer is option C. It considers the surrounding code, file type, and content of parallel open tabs in the code editor. Question number 100. Which of these strategies helps to improve prompt effectiveness in GitHub Copilot? And the answer is A. Providing detailed contextual information with clarity. 101. Which statement about space ownership and description is true? And the answer is C. You can choose personal or organization ownership where available. And the description is for human readers. Question 102. Which action does not add usable context for Copilot in a space? And answer is D. At mentioning a Copilot extension so it can run in space chat. Question 103. Which of the following choices isn't mentioned as one of the programming languages receiving a strong support from GitHub Copilot? And the answer is C. Rust. Question 104. What is the purpose of at workspace agent in GitHub Copilot chat? And the answer is to extend the context of questions to the whole project. Next question. What command would you use to get an explanation of specific command using GitHub Copilot CLI? And the answer is option B, GH Copilot Explain. Next question. When using Copilot code review on github.com, what important billing considerations should you be aware of? And the answer is option B, it consumes premium request units, means PRUs. Next question. What should you do if GitHub Copilot isn't providing code suggestion? So you will check the internet connection first. What is the purpose of content exclusion feature in GitHub Copilot? Just going before. So this is a very, very important questions. And the answer is for 108, the answer is B, to prevent specific files or repositories from being used for code suggestions. This is also important question. 109, your organization requires you to use GitHub Copilot for unit test development in Visual Studio Code. Which initial steps should you take to ensure your environment is correctly set up? This is an important question. And the answer is C, install the C dev kit extension and GitHub Copilot in Visual Studio Code. Next question. Visual Studio Code extension is specifically designed to integrate GitHub Copilot for enhanced code generation and testing capabilities? And the answer is A, GitHub Copilot. And this is again very important question. Next, you instruct GitHub Copilot agent mode to migrate a legacy JavaScript application to a modern framework. Now, what action would agent mode likely perform autonomously? And this is again very, very important question. And the answer is B. Identify relevant files, update dependencies, refactor existing code across multiple files, and iteratively verify changes by running tests. 112 question. What does MCP stands for in the context of GitHub MCP server? So the answer is Model Context Protocol, option B. Next question. What is a primary benefit of using the GitHub MCP server over the local MCP servers? And this is again very, very important question. And the answer is B, eliminates the need for Docker or config file. Next question, which authentication methods are supported by GitHub MCP server in Visual Studio Code? This is again very important question. And the answer is C, OAuth and PAT. PAT means personal access token. Next question, why would you use a local MCP server setup with the Docker? And the answer is B, to access resources or API restricted by enterprise policy. This is again important question. Which troubleshooting steps should should you try first if MCP server tools aren't working in VS Code? This is again very, very important. And the answer is confirm you are signed in into your GitHub account in VS Code. Okay. How can you accept GitHub Copilot suggestion? This is again very, very important question. And the answer is A. Press the tab key. Which principle emphasizes that AI systems should be understandable and provide clear information on how they work? Answer is transparency. Where is the proxy service hosted? And this is Microsoft Azure. This is also very, very important question. 120. What configuration needs to be set to get help from Microsoft and GitHub protecting against IP infringement while using GitHub Copilot? This is again very important question. Answer is suggestion matching public code to be blocked. Which of the following is a risk associated with using AI? And the answer is AI system can sometimes make decisions that are difficult to interpret. This is again very, very important questions. Question 122. A company is currently storing code in a Bitbucket and would like to use GitHub Copilot. Which GitHub Copilot plan will be most cost effective to allow them to manage users with their identity provider? That is example Okta. This is again very important question and the answer is C, GitHub Copilot Enterprise. What is zero shot prompting? This is again very, very important. zero sort prompting, one sort prompting, and few sort prompting. That one. That one. Okay. So the answer is only giving the answer option C. Only giving GitHub Copilot a question as a prompt and no examples. Next question. Which of the following scenarios best describes the intended use of GitHub Copilot chat as a tool? Answer is option B. A productivity tool that provides suggestions but relying on a human judgment. How can you improve the context used by GitHub Copilot? You have to choose two. And the answer is A, by opening the relevant tabs in your IDE and by adding relevant code snippets in your to your prompt. And this is again very important questions. Identify the right use cases where GitHub Copilot chat is most effective. You have to choose two answers from here. Answer is option B and option C. Explain a legacy COBOL code and translate the code to another language like Python. Okay. And the creation of a unit test scenario for a newly developed Python code. And this is again very important question. So try to note down all these questions which I've where I have like mentioned that this is very important or this is important or this is very important. Right? Try to note down these and practice on that. Try to search in the Microsoft Learn and learn more about that things if you're still struggling with that question. So that's it from this complete series. This was the last series, this video. um, I hope you will have already subscribed my channel, so please like this video, and if you have not subscribed my channel then please subscribe this channel and do comment in the video and share with your friend as well. Thank you so much for watching this video.